Yeah.
Okay, we are live. Welcome, Bobby. Welcome, guys. This is going to be an interesting video because we have once again reclaimed $90,000, which is interesting, Bobby. I don't know if I told you this, and guys, you probably remember from Monday or Sunday with Parker. I was preparing a video for Sunday, right, Bobby? And basically what happened
Yeah.
was Bitcoin was at 90K, and then the next day it was like at 87, 86. I had to change the whole thesis of that effing video because we just lost another 3, 4K. But now we've reclaimed 91. And I was speaking to one of my friends yesterday or the day before, and it was like at 86 again. So I don't know about you, but it's time with us. This price of Bitcoin is just not making up its mind and not playing ball. We're almost at 92 as we film this video. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you see, it's pretty weird, right? Because, it's been like the third week in a row where, I don't know if you've heard of what they call the golden line, right? Or the EMA 50. Ever since 2023, Bitcoin hasn't really lost that. And then it happened. Obviously, the market just pumped and dumped on us straight up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird, right? Because even after all these days and weeks of, just selling pressure, the market doesn't look that bad as far as, it still looks healthy in terms of, and how it's positioned. And what do I mean by that? Basically, people longing and people shorting is actually balanced. So it's basically, to me, it's just market makers building up liquidity to the upside, and that's what it's looking like right now. So there's there's some large clusters of liquidity in the short term between 97K and about 106, I think.
Okay.
So I have a feeling they're going to target that.
Maybe we could put that on screen, Isaac, if you're locked in, please, instead of just me putting randomly drinking water. That would be nice. I just found the funniest comment in the world. Parker must be still doing his hair. Parker doesn't come to these streams anymore. Not this one particularly, but he does tomorrow and Mondays or Sundays for you guys, just because the last time we did it, he kind of pissed us off, to be honest. I don't know about you, Bobby, but everybody was just talking at the same time, and then his connection went. So I don't know if there was an issue there, but we decided to bring Bobby on as a special guest at this time, this date, every single week instead of 2 at once. It's just kind of a little bit messy. But yeah, he's always late, by the way, to streams, not Bobby Parker. And that probably is because he's doing his hair or doing 50 press ups trying to get a quick pump.
Actually, I think he was late last time
He's always late.
because he actually had a shirt on instead of his little robe.
Yeah. Okay. So Bobby wanted to share some link, and we're going to talk about, altcoins. Really, the title of this video. It's an interesting one because I know a lot of people are not going to like this. Because Bobby's in a different situation than us. You've sold most of your coins that you publicly spoke about, but I don't know if you've re-entered. You did talk about some limit orders, etc. And I do have his full plan that he shared in our paid group, and I have been allowed to share that with you guys, so we will go over that. Of course, non-financial advice, but this is his updated plan as far as 9 days ago. You're okay with me sharing this, Bobby?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. We're going to talk about that later on. But you sent me this link. I don't know if there's some crackling. I don't know if it's me or you. I can hear that. I don't know, Isaac, if that's an issue, but it doesn't really matter. What is this link that you wanted to share? Will Bitcoin price rally experts early 2026?
Yeah, so let me pull it up again. So it's it's basically, obviously it's going over the fear and greed, right? But if you scroll down a little bit, and this really puts into perspective without trying to find it, on TradingView. So you can scroll down a little bit more, a little bit more. There should be a Bitcoin, that one.
Okay.
No, at the very top, the Bitcoin monthly price candle.
I was there 2 seconds ago.
Yes, you were.
Okay, what about it?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing it on the screen, but there you go. I mean, so basically, if you actually look at this at the monthly candle level, we still haven't broken market structure. So we could be set up for a small recovery, which is what I think will happen. Now, I'm not calling for a new all-time high at all, but the way they've been playing this market, I just think, they're going to target that cluster zone, 97K, between 105 and 106 to build up that liquidity, and they're going to take us down again.
Okay.
So this really puts it into perspective with, nice little colors and all that. So I really think it's really important to look at it. Ultimately, my major target for Bitcoin is going to be 75K. And even after that, you have the plan that I shared, and I have some limit orders around the 60K level.
Well, save it. We're not giving that yet. Relax. Okay, that's coming later on. We don't want to give you your exact numbers yet. We want to max out retention. So behave with that. We'll share this in a second. This is the big plan, okay? But relax. We're not going to talk about that yet. So save it.
Okay.
Okay, so you also put why is fear and greed important for trading? Does that come in with crypto as well, or you just want to talk about trading there? Because I would argue it comes with crypto as well, right? Because I know personally when the fear and greed is low, as you guys probably know, most guys panic and sell, but the smart guys and their solid coins, at least what we've seen previously, they start to buy because every single time it usually marks the bottom. Do you mean trading there, Bobby, or do you mean crypto as well, or just a general thought when you look at the fear and greed?
I mean, honestly, I think it's just in general. Obviously, that applies to training, but obviously in general. Just because, I mean, what do I mean by that? So basically, when it comes to trading and you're in fear and greed and all that, so a lot of the people that actually do trading, and I don't want to bore anybody. The reason why I want to talk about this is because I saw a comment last time, and it was basically saying, "Hey, Trey, Jake and Bobby are not traders," right? So I thought it was funny. So if you really ask yourself a question, what's a trader? On paper, a trader is somebody who loses money 90% of the time. I mean, that's the reality, right? So it's not that far from the truth. And after reading that book, which is called Trading in the Zone, it really puts a lot of perspective. And a lot of traders really have the illusion that the market is going to behave in the way that they expect, right? Like I just saw a comment right now basically saying, "Oh wow, 60K, I'm out," or something like that. Because they don't think that Bitcoin's going to go that low, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's the main conflict, right? Between belief versus behavior, right? What do you think is going to happen? What do you want to happen versus what the market will actually do? I don't know if that makes sense, but people really treat trading like a prediction and not a probability. So this book, like I really recommend it to everybody that's trying to get serious about trading. I mean, if you
Let's
just
share
want to
that.
gamble,
Let's share that. Let's share that. So, by the way, guys, not a plug. This is a completely free group. Me and Bobby started this. A lot of guys have been asking, where do we get this indicator? This is actually the new version. He made me swap it because mine used to be gold and blue, and you probably remember from the last week's, but he didn't like it anymore. So we swapped it, and this is a more updated version for your trades, even for your long-term hodls. You can get complete access to this here. But what he's talking about there as well is he shared this in the group. And again, that's free. You don't have to do anything. You're talking about this book here. I've never read it. It looks like an easy read, but is that what you're talking about?
yeah, it's called Trading in the Zone. And anybody who's serious about trading, that's the PDF.
Okay. And if you were to
So
sum this book up in the shortest way possible of what somebody can dedicate before they want to go and dedicate some time to this, what is it going to give them the desired outcome?
so how could I basically sum it up in one way, in one or two sentences? I would
I can
say,
do it. I'll do it. It'll make you fucking
con
profitable.
well, yeah, that's even better than what I was going to say. But yes, basically. But no, that basically consistency and being emotionless is going to beat every other strategy every time. That's what this guy talks about.
Okay.
Because what's going to happen, you're looking at all these red candles, you're looking at the green candles, you're going through fear, and what's that going to do? It's going to make you hesitate. It's going to make you enter late into a long or late into a short. You're going to exit early. You're not going to follow the momentum of the market. Uh, you know, or what about the emotion of greed? You're going to go have long positions, right? When you should be controlling your risk for trade. And then guess what? You lose a trade, and then you go back in. You're like, no, I'm going to make up my losses. Basically revenge trading. And volatility in crypto just makes you emotional, and it triggers that part of the brain 10 times stronger than the way that you should trade, which is like a robot.
Okay. So if you guys want to get in here, the pinned comment, or if you want to just read his book, I don't know if I can share this publicly, but it is in here. You don't even have to come in here and grab this, but you can probably find this. But this is a free version if you want to read it. You can probably get it on an Audible book or whatever. But if you want to take this seriously, and it's probably not a long read, it's 141 pages, go and do that. Let's jump to the important part, okay? Your plan going forward. It's a big one. You've publicly spoke about this for a while. Do you want me to read this, or do you want me to just sum it down, or do you want to sum this down?
You can sum it down.
Okay, well, it's your plan. It'd be probably better if you summed it down, but I can sum it down if you want.
Yeah, I mean, you could start reading from the second paragraph. Just, a lot of people think it's just a zero-sum game. Basically, oh, crypto's going to go up or it's going to go down.
Okay. No,
And
you wrote
that
this
and
9
that's not
days
it.
ago. You wrote this
Yeah.
9 days ago. Okay, so nothing in the market moves in a straight line. Not up, not down right now. Okay. And it's interesting that we even start saying that, as I just seen a comment there, is the market does what everybody is like opposite's going to do. Like if retail thinks, oh, it's game over, etc., etc., usually you'll find the opposite is true, right? It's kind of like a little story when like most people buy their first cryptocurrency and they get sad when it goes down. It's just like almost like the crypto gods or the trading gods just teaching you a lesson that what's about to come, that it's just not going to go up in a straight line forever. So it's almost funny when somebody says that, because when people start getting in any sort of investment, on paper, most of the time we see it goes down, and then eventually you'll be rewarded. The market makers need to create liquidity before the market is lower. The sideways movement we're currently seeing is intentional and necessarily. They want to liquidate both sides, and that's what we seen on October 10th, right? $20 billion was liquidated in the crypto markets, which got a lot of people, Bobby, you know this from looking at the heat map liquidity, a lot of traders were wrecked, and then a lot of hodlers sold out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and not only October 10th, I mean, we see it happening, uh, every few days they do the same thing. If you go back to, what was that? November 30th, we saw that big drop again
Mm-hmm.
on Bitcoin, which basically, once you go back to trading view and take a look, for those of you guys who like patterns, actually pull it up. Go into the 4 hours. You might be able to see it more clearly for you. Please.
I'm there. Bobby, you need to keep up. You're lagging.
Yeah, okay. So 4 hours. So if you stretch that, you can actually see a nice little inverted head and shoulders pattern,
Is this
which is
the
pretty
shit?
funny. Yeah, the very last one, the very
Okay.
last pattern that you see, that's an inverted head and shoulder patterns. But what I'm trying to say, like you see, yeah, you saw it October 10th, you see all these big drops, and it's nothing more than a freaking game to them.
Okay.
So this is going to continue to happen. But as of right now, I really do think they're going to target those clusters at 97K, all the way up to 105 and maybe even 106. So guess what I'll be doing there? So if we actually get to that this year, I'm going to be shorting again, unless something else changes. But for right now, that's a good plan. With a tight stop loss, because you never know what they're going to try to do. And that's really the part about trading that a lot of people don't understand. Like you can have a winning system, right? Because I see it all the time. Like you have all these people that sign up to all these freaking channels. Oh, I want to get a signal here, a signal there, and they're getting all these trades. And let's just assume that the trades are good, right? But guess what? Let's say you're using your entire account balance. You don't have a plan. You're using too much leverage. You forget to put a stop loss, right? You enter into it late because you think you're going to miss that trade. And guess what? You just wreck yourself. Even if you had a good trade to begin with, you didn't execute it properly. And going back to the book, that's what it basically that's one of its main points. If you are consistent and you have a winning system, that's the only way to be profitable in this game. As I said before, 90% of the traders, they lose money. They blow up their accounts.
Okay. And it's a great point. We'll come back on that as well, but I want to finish this post. People who entered shorts too late, people who are going long permanently, both groups are going to get taken out. As far as alts go, you're not buying any altcoins. Now, this was posted 9 days ago. Is there any altcoins you've bought within the last 9 days that would be changed this or no?
No. Now, to be fair, I still hold Monad, right?
I was about to
That's
say,
the only one.
Monad was in there, but
Yeah.
okay, fair. I believe it came back to initial entry, as far as I remember from checking with Parker. I don't know where it's at now. Let me just see. Pretty much the same. Is this pretty much a break even right now, bar from the DeFi pools and the staking from when you guys got in? Because I know most of you
No,
doubled your bags.
this is above the entry price. The entry price of the ICO that we got was 2.5 cents.
Okay, a little bit up. I get that. Okay, cool. Let's go back. Altcoins. So Monad would come in there, but obviously that's there. Would you recommend people still buy Monad, even though it's back at pretty much entry when it was 2x, or what do you see going forward? Obviously, you still hold it. Is it still a good alt, even right now in the market?
Yeah, I think so. I would wait though. But if we see it back at the entry ICO price 250, I would go in. Treat it carefully though.
Okay. Now this next line, what you said was one that me and Parker have been talking about for so long, and so many people in chat have been talking about with ADA, AVAX. I'm not saying these are OG coins, but you said here, if a project looks dead and it doesn't have a real community, that's where maybe ADA, AVAX, and some coins that haven't reached their 2021 bull run would maybe not be in that category, because I would argue they do have a community. But are they a community? What's the word you like to use? Community members that just ride it to shit. Use case or narrative, then you would seriously consider taking a haircut, e.g. selling, or writing it to zero. So what projects do you mean by that? And does ADA, AVAX, coins that have done well in 2021 capture that? Because I would argue Zcash would be in that same category until it wasn't, right? If that makes sense.
Right. But I mean, we all get attached to our coins, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this is mostly targeting, let's say, people who hold like 25, 30 coins, because I still know a couple of those. Basically saying, look, if a coin really hasn't moved, there's no narrative behind it. Why are you going to hold it? If you don't believe in it, you should have conviction above all else.
Okay. Fair.
I mean, if we're being honest.
Okay, this is the most important part. So his key levels going forward. Again, not financial advice. Nobody should copy Bobby. If you want to see more on what Bobby does with the GG indicator, click that pinned link to get access to it for free and get yourself in here. Again, we don't have anything to sell you in that group. It's a free group. We can get a free indicator that we used to sell, by the way. So previously mentioned 75K was the main level to watch for Bitcoin, but now it's looking increasingly like the 75K doesn't hold. Still stand by that? Even at today,
Yeah,
91,
absolutely.
92. Okay. The true bottom for this going to be is 62 to 60K. What made you change 75K to 60 to 62? Because that's a big difference, not in terms of price, but in terms of market cap for Bitcoin. Because I would argue, and probably you guys at home, if Bitcoin did get to 75K, alts are going to be fucking in the toilet. If Bitcoin got to 60 to 62K, altcoins are going to be on 2% health. What made you change
Yeah,
it?
I mean, I mean, reality. I hate to be blunt, but just basically just reality, man. I mean, that's the next that's the next cluster that we see, 75K. And after that, there's no real stops on the way down. So I am fairly confident those orders will hit. I mean, that's basically all it is. I don't want to overcomplicate it.
There's always some guy talking about Altcoin. It actually gets me angry, bro.
But I mean, here's the main thing. Like a lot of these moves, they take time. So, we're going to go sideways for a little while. Like I said, again, I think they're going to target that upper level now. But these moves take time, and a lot of people just fail to understand that. We could be here next week, and let's say Bitcoin is, I don't know, it's 86K, 88K again. Like, oh, Bobby, you said it was going to go up. Well, it's going to go sideways, and the market's going to do what the market's going to do. But that's not to say you can't make money. I mean, just cover the risk, and you'll be fine.
I also see comments like this as well. XRP diamond had hands until true retirement. What does that mean? When you read that, Bobby, what does that mean to you? XRP's done. Now, I know Bobby doesn't like XRP. I love XRP, by the way. I'm a fan of XRP. I've had 5,000 XRPs for 5 years now. Even had to rebuy it twice after losing it to Celsius. So I like XRP, but when people say XRP diamond hands until retirement, I've just seen that so many times. Now, if you have enough XRP and you don't need to go to $100,000, $2,000, like people still make on YouTube, that might be true. But I don't know about you, Bobby, but people that usually say that are waiting for these stupid prices, and it just never comes true, and they miss out in waves across the time. Different narratives. Even XRP, I'm sure you'll agree, Bobby, is one of probably the best trading coins out there on the daily, if not the 4-hourly, especially on this GG indicator.
I mean, absolutely, absolutely. I love XRP when it comes to trading futures. It's one of the most consistent coins out there. And like I said, I love the XRP army just because of the fact that no matter what happens, they're always there and they will push like no other community. So I can see a case for people holding XRP like this, when it comes to my post, like XRP wouldn't be included there because I'm pretty sure if you're a holder of XRP, you probably have a lot of conviction.
Yeah, and you've probably made money. We've got
Absolutely.
We'll finish off your point here about there's some donations here. Wow, Bobby, we made $10. We can now buy 5 XRP. I'll send you 2.5 after the stream. I love this guy, International Street Family. He always posts and these crazy emojis. He's all in on Wojak, Ethereum Jeff. Fat Jeffrey's Consumers Call 2026.
I love his picture though.
I love his picture too, bro. And I know why you love it because you always like use that avatar. I respect that. I respect that. So Wojak, is that a coin you've heard on? I probably have. I think we've mentioned this a couple of times.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it. We mentioned it last time, or I think he did.
Yeah, he's always mentioned it. What one is it though? That's the problem. There's so many different Wojaks. I don't even know. I'm guessing it's the one at 40 million market cap. He might. He's done well. He's done well, to be honest. And I just love how he takes the Jeffrey analysis. What do you think in this coin, Bobby? No idea. I'm going to guess you're going to say, but we all love this guy. We love this.
Yeah, probably.
We love this guy.
No idea, but you know what they say, simplifying it?
What?
Hold up, what's the saying? Green coin go up is good coin or something like that? I forget.
I don't know. You definitely butchered that. But Wojak, we love you. And if you made money in that coin, keep doing your thing, man. But remember to take profits. I don't know when you got in this coin, but you've been talking about this coin for a couple of months. So I'm guessing you're up probably more than the 10x. So don't let me tell you to not take profits or take profits if this coin goes up another 10x. But yeah, you know what you're getting into with this coin. Gordon, $5. Thank you. Tell us where you obtained the conviction to not sell your HBAR and XRP. Don't want hopium, just wisdom. So like I said, with XRP, I've had 5,000 XRP. Usually I don't know, but Bobby, you can give your thoughts and everybody can give in chat. When I started my cryptocurrency journey, it was I was here to learn about Bitcoin and just understand what it did. And then I did the traditional path where I was decent on Bitcoin. I actually did a lot of lump sums on Bitcoin and Coinbase, etc. And then I started to learn about altcoins, for good or bad. The good thing about my 2021 run before the disaster of losing it all, if you guys remember, everything went crazy. So like you could pretty much buy anything in 2020 and 2021 and not lose money. Like even the Safe Moon scams, even all that kind of bullshit before with these, you know, influencers at the kind of top level, you could even buy those and they wouldn't just rug tomorrow, right? So I had a good experience there until obviously Celsius came and took it all. But XRP, I remember, you probably remember as well, Bobby, doing YouTube yourself, seeing these price predictions on XRP, right? And I didn't think it was going to go to 10,000, but me buying Bitcoin, me buying Ethereum, me starting to buy, you know, HBAR, Gala Games, Axie Infinity and coins like that back in the day, XRP was kind of in that because I looked what it did in 2017 and I was like, oh, it's probably going to do that in 2021. Now, obviously, lawsuit, etc., etc. Combine that with the price predictions and combine that with me getting sucked into like XRP, doing all these crazy stuff, it being a big enough market cap, which was fine. And that's why I bought XRP. I've always had the goal to hold 5,000 XRP, not in dollar value in coins, as a what if, what's going to happen. And I've always stayed by that. It would have to go up a lot for me to sell it, but I've always just wanted to hold 5,000 XRP long term, if that makes sense. Do you have any thoughts on that, Bobby? I know you don't hold it. You don't necessarily not like it because you like to trade it, but do you have any thoughts?
No, let me correct it. I do hold some XRP because I think my Exodus wallet, I think you get to have 10 XRP to keep
Wow.
the address
Wow.
alive. So I have 10.
Stop.
So if we do get to those 10,000 magical dollars, I'm good.
I think. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. An H bar, Hedera. I'm just going to start calling it Hedera. The reason why I bought that was basically the same thing, but the reason why I decided to go heavy on was it because just the use cases, the scalability, and that was one of the coins. Somebody taught me, I forgot who it was, to taught me to buy your Bitcoin, buy your Ethereum. Now remember, this was 2020/2021, and then it was, I can't remember who it was. Somebody basically in some group was just like, you always want to have at least one conviction coin that you like that's big enough market cap to go a little bit heavier on. And for me, it was HBAR. Now, I've made one of the biggest mistakes in my trading career in HBAR, and you probably remember, Bobby, because I think you were an OG subscriber when I put $40,000 into HBAR at 14 cents. And that was a big whoopsie doopsie because I still thought we were in a bull market, right? This was 2022, whatever. I had no idea about the cycles. That was the biggest lessons that I didn't take from the guys before that really taught me about crypto, but they didn't tell me when to sell. And not that they should, because we don't fucking know. Not that Bobby's telling you to sell here, because we don't know. He's just giving his plans. And all those guys got wrecked because they didn't sell, and I was just kind of copying their wisdom. But those were big HBAR believers. I became a huge HBAR believer. And the best thing I could do after that 14 cents, $40,000 whoopsie doopsie was buy it at 3, 4, 5, 6 cents. And that's how my average is 6.8 cents. So to answer your question, I'm not giving you opium. That was pretty much why. I chose one coin that was not Bitcoin or Ethereum that I wanted to go heavier on. And I just liked their team, partners with Google. Now they're partners with somewhat guys in Lloyd's and UK banks recently, and that's what got the big pump up to 40 cents, although it's came down a lot because of Bitcoin. But that's why. I've always had the conviction, and Bobby, you can see on that as well, with Crypto.com in the last bull run, with the Rune as well in the last bull. You've had coins, and probably you guys are at home, hold coins that maybe you're a little bit too heavy on, but because you like it, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I still hold my Chronos. I still hold my Chronos. I still hold my Rune. Not necessarily because I like to be punished, but you know, Rune is one of those coins, right? I mean, it does have a great use case. On paper, it's now deflationary, but the price action is shit, right? But it does have a use case. It does have still some of a community, but at this point in time, you know, my bag is just not worth selling at this point. So I'm going to wait that out. And as far as Chronos,
That's
I
a big
mean,
point.
you know,
Let me just touch on that. Because there's another question with you with Cronus I want to touch on, but that's a big point. People always say, why do I still hold Gala Games? Why do I still hold Illumium? They're down 90%, because it's not a big enough bag where it would make sense for me to sell, where I can say comfortably, okay, on Gala Games, Where is it? I want to take $8,000 is okay. Fine. Aluminum $960. Like I've lost 11,000 fucking dollars in this coin. Like $969. What am I going to do with that? I could DCA in Bitcoin, but it's just not going to make a significant damage for me where I would just rather hold it. And I think that's what you meant there with Rune, right? It's not a significant enough bag where you would swap it just as a what if, because you would lose more sleep if Rune decided to go crazy, right?
Yeah. Plus, on top of that, I'm staking it. I mean, they call it bonding, but it's sort of the same thing.
Okay.
So I'm getting more Rune every day.
Does Bobby still follow the Cronus ecosystem? Somebody asked.
Yeah, I do. I have the debit card. I love the debit cards. I don't do credit cards, but I'm probably gonna have to get into that at some point. But yeah, I love the cash back, Kronos rewards. It's 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 one of those companies that just keep growing. And I mean, we still remember the what was it, the Staples Center that they had in LA?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Matt Damon, who could forget Matt Damon? And the Trump company, the I think it's called War Liberty Financial, can't remember. They invested in Kronos. That's when we got to that 38 cent this past few months. So I'm going to hold that just because. I mean, I do see a future. I do see some value accrual there. So I'm not going to sell just yet. But I'm not buying any more.
Okay. Okay, let's finish your point. Isaac, you got to lock in, bro. You're so far behind. Okay, let's finish off this post because we keep going back and forward. So 60 to 62. What are your... Have you got your numbers here? Yeah, you should do. Don't want to give that right now. So when will this happen? My best guess is the second quarter of 2026, which is interesting, right? Because as I've just said that, some people are going to be like, fuck, I have to hold till 2026 now? Not January, February, March, April, May, June. That's where you're looking at right now. And I get that. And Bobby, you get that. If I was to spin back 1 year ago, we'd all thought we'd be in some sort of alt season right now, right? And that's the reality of this bull run. We have had a bull run. We've not had somewhat of an alt season where these top coins have went there. But we have had a bull run in Bitcoin if you just look at the charts. It's went more than a 5 to 6x or whatever, if not more, since 125. So there has been a run. And me and Bobby have low-key been telling you to buy Bitcoin in 22, 23, 24, and then provide your altcoins. So just a lot of people didn't want to take action, but now Bitcoin's out of reach for some people. Let's be honest. Possibility of Bitcoin going down to 53, 55, but only as a wick. So that would mean maybe you set limit orders where you would maybe want to buy that on some exchanges. Would that be right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just said it. I mean, for anybody who thinks that can't happen, I mean, I got a bridge to sell you somewhere. But and like I said, my whole plan is not riding on that happening. But if it does happen, I'll get a great price, and I get a couple Bitcoins that way.
Okay, cool. Okay,
So and I'll just say something else before I forget. So I mean, even going back, when we thought that Q4, bull run would be in full effect, and that's a lot of the market. A lot of the bulls were just basically saying, "Hey, Q4 is going to be, the bull run, and it's going to be great." But as far as Bitcoin goes, it does look like it's in a bear market, right? So, I mean, let's not forget that the last crash, we went from what, like upper 60s all the way down to, I think it was 17K.
mm-hmm.
But that took almost 1 year for it to happen. And guess what? It went sideways quite a lot, right? So it was not just a straight drop. So let's keep that into perspective. But I do see, like I said, a bottom, maybe third quarter. I can definitely see a bottom in Bitcoin at that point.
Okay. Let's get to the juicy parts where you actually talk about your numbers. Again, non-financial advice, guys, spiritual advice. So if someone wants to follow this general plan, it makes sense to have limit orders. Can you explain what a limit order is? Because there is going to be 10% of guys that don't understand what that is in like 2 seconds. Can you explain that in the easiest way possible?
I mean, you basically set a buy or sell order to execute at a certain price level, right? So either you say, hey, I'm going to buy Bitcoin if it goes to X price, and you can be sleeping, you can be swimming somewhere, and the order will execute without you being in front of it, or
And
it'll sell
mhm.
in the same way. It's just very easy to do.
And the reason that can work is because, you know, how many times have you seen a coin that you've wanted to buy at a certain price and you've been sleeping? Where you have this, the only caveat that is there, you have to move your money on exchange, which is fine. You use a good exchange. But how many times have people said, I wish I would have bought at this price? They wake up the next day and it did wick to that price. You would have got an order filled, but now you're back at this price and you really can't do anything. So that is something you need to maybe consider doing. And that's what he's talking about here. So, Isaac, you're so bad. $75,000. He's going to deploy 25% of his stable coins into Bitcoin. Okay. First, step number one. Step number two, the remaining 50% of orders will be set all the way down at $60,000. He's not sure if these orders will fill, but that's the plan. And it doesn't need to fill because the money's just sitting there anyways, right? He's also going to place a final low wick order, 10%, in case we get that extreme capitulation effect. Okay. That's the plan on Bitcoin.
That's the plan. That's the plan on Bitcoin, yes.
The question, or the hard question that everybody wants to know, is what do you do for altcoins?
I mean, at this point, it's definitely not clear if we're going to have an altcoin season. I still, I believe there's a good chance it may still happen, but it's only going to be a select few. And we talked about this in the past, but the main game is going to be catching those, because it's not going to be everything running like it was the last bull run. It's going to be a select few. But guess what? Here's the other thing that could happen. What if when they're taking us up on this upper level, when I said that they're going to target those liquidity clusters at 97, 105, 106 on Bitcoin, what if we have a run there? I don't know, but I'm still not convinced I want to buy anything just yet. However, if I see some prices drop enough, I would definitely pick up some Sol.
Okay.
I would definitely pick up, I've told you I would pick up some XRP, even if I don't like it. I like to make money.
What price does XRP have to go to for you to actually do a considerable buy for XRP? We're right now at $2.17. What price would that have to be in relative terms for what would make sense for the risk/reward?
So I do have limit orders set at $1.50, right?
You see, it's all coming out now. So you do have technically opportunities or things that you would like to do at XRP. The only problem is it's at 150, which is actually not that far away in percentage terms if Bitcoin was to hit those numbers that you're talking about. I would argue that it would smash through here on a wick at 150. Smash through here if Bitcoin got to 60K, 75K, maybe.
Absolutely. But here's the key. A lot of people just don't get this. How long do these wicks last? They last a matter of minutes.
Well, we
Those
can
huge
see a big one
liquidation
on
candles.
screen. We can see a big one on screen that lasted how long? I don't know how long this one was, but this is on the daily. Probably not long.
It did not last 1 hour.
117, 120 on XRP. And you can pull up pretty much every single altcoin on TradingView, and you can probably see the same thing. There was massive wicks on pretty much all the top coins on TradingView.
Yeah. And guess what? You're immediately in profit when that wick comes back.
Immediately in profit, bro. Big time. Big time. And that just comes down to what we used to say before. Have some little cheeky limit orders that you're like, no, there's no way that's going to hit. And it hits. And we've seen it happen time and time again where you do get a fill. You might wake up the next day, or you might just go and check after your gym session or the work, and you've just made like a 2x. It's happened so many times. So many times.
Yeah, and I mean, and anybody thinking it can't happen, just go back. History is the best predictor of what's going to happen in the future, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, even right now, it looks like I'm looking at the XRP chart. It looks like it wants to pull out the GG on the XRP on the go on the hourly. Looks like it wants to break out.
Already has.
Well, you're looking at the daily,
I'm not. You're
or
just so
is
far behind on stream. You're worse than Parker now. Come on.
I'm not. Look, I'm just looking at the screen. It says live, so maybe there's a lag on this. Yeah,
We're, so this flipped from $2 to almost $2.17, $2.20. So on the GG here, 1 hour, and that's why, guys, again, you get the GG for free. You don't have to use it. TradingView is free. You can literally get this and speak to Bobby about his live trades. We set up this 2 to 3 days ago now, that Discord. So if you want it, while we're still giving access, because he wants to cap it, Bobby's a bad man. He wants to cap this eventually. Right now, I'm saying no. But if you do want to do this before we cap it, get in that Discord group where you can get access to the trading indicator. Well, Bobby will personally give you the code because you can't get this code. We made it. He made it. And all you need to do is literally send him your email address that you signed up, which is TradingViews free, and he will plug and play this. Even if you don't like us, and you can go away and you can have the GG indicator to take away. So if you want it and you see value in it, that's what he uses. There's a flip here on XRP a few hours ago where you're 20% in profits if you caught this. And he will also teach you as well trading for free. So I don't know what more I can give you guys, to be honest.
the shirt off your back, Jake.
The
The shirt off your back.
You know, I mean, I'm not going to go there, but anyways. Yeah, so you can grab that if you want. So yeah, XRP on the hourly has a little confirmation of a flip. And yeah, this is on the hourly, remember.
Let me ask you this, Jake. Isn't this much better than what you had? The colors, they're more vibrant.
It's a little bit better. So
There's no in between.
I used to have the old GG indicator where it would go silver, and that's what was kind of annoying with my old GG, because you wouldn't be able to like call it perfectly. But I also got so used to that indicator because that's when I would just wait. With Bobby's, I will admit, it is clearer. There is more confirmation, and this has a better track rate. I will say the longer you zoom out, the hourly is obviously not going to be 100% accurate. And you should obviously, what we always say is go and back test it. Scroll back on XRP on the hourly if you look to do this more in a faster way. See how consistent it's at. The daily is pretty much spot on if you're more longer term. And the weekly is pretty much, I don't want to say 100% perfect, but it's really not going to be long. But the problem with the weekly is you're going to have to wait weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to get a confirmation, because that's when it closes. That's when the line's starting to change from green to red, from longs to shorts, for example. So just go and back test your coins, man. If you put this on your trading view, and you will see if it's worth a buy, if it's worth a sell, because you can make money on the way down as well. You don't have to wait for greens all the time. You can short on the way down as well. We're not telling you guys to take out crazy leverage, but you know, that's something that you can speak to Bobby about, and us in the group as well, to maybe get, because I know you shared a post about leverage and what to use compared to your account balance, etc. The formula there, which guys really need to tone down on. But you can just do this for even spot buys, even just spot buys you want to do in a more longer term frame. So I will admit, Bobby, it is better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you're starting to see the light.
Any questions, guys? Well, there's a bunch of questions, multiple people talking, but if anybody has any specific questions about trades or about any sort of cryptocurrency, we have 5 minutes left. I can't wait to get these headphones off, Isaac. We need to fix these headphones for next time, for tomorrow, because these headphones, I don't know what it is. They're just rattling my ears off. So I really cannot wait to get those off, but I will put up with 5 more minutes of questions with Bobby. BTC confidently breaks. What if BTC confidently breaks 108 to 110? $110,000 with daily closes, Bobby? Is that when your 65 to 70 is invalid, or what?
Wait, sorry, say that again. If it gets to what?
And what happens if BTC confidently breaks 108 to 110 with daily closes? Somebody's asking you. What happens?
I mean, what happens I'm gonna be shorting regardless with the short, with a very close stop loss. But it's not necessarily going to change my thesis. I would have to see the weekly actually change. I mean, the daily is great, but I usually just go by the weekly and the monthly for my long-term view of the market. I mean, like I said, I mean, you could go back and look at the GG, right? It's it's not a real-time indicator, right? It's what you call a lagging indicator because it uses a lot of the moving averages and a few other little tricks, but you really have to zoom out to get the full picture
Yeah, I think you
because we can
say
get,
the trend is your friend here. Always follow the trend.
yes, yes, sir. Like
He
I
just
tell you
starts
what
talking.
though, I tell you what though, I'm not going to be uh shorting with freaking 50x leverage.
No, and that's something you
I think
guys
I
need
told you.
to understand, man, is like we're giving you this tool, but we're not giving you this tool to be reckless. We're not here to make like you lose money because we don't make money if you pull up to fucking Coinbase and whatever fucking NEXC and 100x leverage. If you get it right, you fucking win, but you're probably not going to be the strategy for you if you are starting brand new because all it takes is one little wick where maybe the GG can't save you and you've just lost cash. So if you are using leverage, Bobby will teach you inside the Discord, but it's very, very low leverage, if any at all, when you're starting out.
Yeah, I mean, the only way to survive these freaking crazy wicks is using 2x, maybe 3x at most leverage
Mm-hmm.
and have a stop loss and
Okay.
always use isolated leverage. If you use cross leverage, I mean, that's just stupidity.
Okay.
And I would just say one more thing. I mean, you guys should be careful who you follow, on crypto Twitter, because, I'm remembering what's his name, Arthur Hayes, which is saying, oh, Monad's going to go to zero, take this shit going to zero. And then the previous week, he was saying, oh, it's going to go to $10. And a lot of these content creators, they have, millions of followers and they don't care because they just want to dump on you. So always follow the track record, right? Follow their track record because they'll go back and delete their stuff. Look, if we make quote unquote a prediction here and we're wrong, I mean, we'll own it,
Yeah.
but
I'll tell you,
just be
owning it
careful.
sucks. Like I've talked about so many times about everybody always says, oh, why does he openly say how he lost 950K in the last bull run? It's because I can't hide it, bro. Like I'm not going to delete the fucking videos or delete the story because that's not real, right? And so many guys from the last bull run, not only did they delete their videos, but they also gave up because people just hate. Like there's probably a lot of people in chat that I can see that got wrecked in 2021. Own it, bro. Own it. Okay, what are we going to do from now? There's nothing you can do. You can't delete that past. You can't go back in time and get back the crypto or wish you sold at this price. You own it and you move on and you try and get better. There's no point burying it and just trying to hide it because then you have dead skeletons
Exactly.
or dead fucking things in your closet that nobody wants to do.
I mean, you even remember, the start of my trading journey, Jake. I was sending you all these screenshots using 50x leverage, 100x leverage, and you're like, oh my God, you're making so much money. But on the sidelines, I was just blowing up my account.
Yeah.
It's a hard way to learn. It's a hard way to learn, but I've learned my lessons and now I have a system and now I just stay profitable by playing it safe and being consistent and not being emotional.
Okay.
That's half psychology is 80% of the way there to become profitable. If you can master that, you're way ahead of the game.
I also realized that we started at 8:35, so we technically do have 5 minutes left because Isaac was late. Isaac. What do you think, Bobby? I mean, there's so many questions here about the top 10 coins. Will they be the same by 2028? Let's go through that as the last point, unless there's any more interesting questions. Are top 10 coins one by one, excluding USDT and fucking USDC, because they don't count. So Bitcoin by 2028, will it be higher or lower than 90K? Yes or no?
More than likely, yes.
Okay. Now, Ethereum doesn't like it. Gun to your head, $3,000, 2028.
Boy, that's a hard one. I still have to say yes. It'll be higher than 3K, yes.
I think the funny answer is, I won't say it yet, but I'll get to it after. XRP, $2.18, 2028. This crackling is so bad. $2.18, higher or lower?
I want to say higher.
BNB, 887. That was way past 1,000, I think, not too long ago. 887, higher or lower, 2028.
No question it's going to be higher.
Good boy. Solana, 140. You going to say higher?
Yeah, absolutely higher.
Interesting one. Tron.
Tron. So Tron is actually an alt that I still hold. What's the price target on that?
I don't have a price target. I'm just asking if it's going to be higher and lower by
Oh
2028.
no. It's going to be higher.
Okay.
It's going to be higher. However, you do have to watch out because what's it called? US, Tether might get in trouble uh, here soon. I forget what the headline was, but they're buying a lot of gold. So, but still, if gun to my head, yeah, it's going to be higher than that.
Okay. Dogecoin. Higher and lower. This is where it gets a little bit difficult. Although I think Dogecoin is going to be around. It's the OG meme coin that started all this with Elon Musk and all these other shit. Higher or lower?
I think it's going to be lower. I think there's going to be one that's going to take the crown away from it.
Fuck. What is replacing Dogecoin in terms of memes? Because I would argue meme coins are always going to be here.
I
What's
wish I
trying to
knew.
replace it? It might be
I
Pepe,
wish
bro.
I.
I wish it would be Brett. Fuck me. It might be Pepe because I don't know. I think that's still the most used. Last time I checked, the most used meme in people's like Telegram and people's WhatsApp. Pepe emoji, which somewhat gives it some value, or it might be something new. It might be something new. But I would argue that most people, even though they're in the correct category in coin market cap, most people are saying altcoins are meme coins right now, which is to some degree somewhat true, but not the kind of top 10 that we were looking at right now. They have some utility. ADA, very difficult one. That is a tough one for me to answer. And some people are not going to like that. They're going to be like, oh, it's sure going to be there. But what's it done this cycle compared to 21? It's had pumps along the way. Higher or lower than 43 cents, Bobby, 2028.
I would say maybe higher, but not much.
It's tough. Hyperliquid, and there's one more I'm going to ask as well. Hyperliquid
I
33.
think I think Hyperlink it's going to be higher.
This is a
They are very loved by their community. Very loved.
last one. Shout out you, Ram, if you're watching this from home. Maybe you're up. Somebody just said as well, Bitcoin Cash. I want to give your thoughts on Bitcoin Cash, Bob, before I ask you that question. I was speaking to another one of my guys last night. And Bitcoin's Cash, as far as I'm aware, solid coins obviously got this horrendous chart where 2017, 2021 didn't beat it. But obviously, people are saying Bitcoin Cash is the original, what Bitcoin was supposed to do, right? And my friend said to me on a call, he was like, well, if Bitcoin's continuously going up, usually Bitcoin Cash is doing the opposite of Bitcoin in price, right? If Bitcoin is struggling, Bitcoin Cash, as far as he was saying, usually does well and vice versa. But if Bitcoin eventually is going up forever through the troughs, wouldn't Bitcoin Cash consistently lose value all time or no?
Well, no, I think it has a very diehard community as well.
You're right. Higher or lower?
I want to say higher. I don't see why it would be lower than it is right now.
There you go, Ram.
I
You'll
mean,
be happy.
they'll get more converts. Like I said, they'll get more converts, and it's hard to beat the slogan, the OG Bitcoin.
Yep. I don't know what that was. Anyways, guys, thank you for the chat. Hopefully we'll get these microphones sorted. If you guys, not yet, if you guys want to join this Discord, we're seeing a lot of members come in. Free GG access, free access to me and Bobby. Everything is in here. Click the link in the pinned comment, or if you're watching this on replay, the first link or the second link in the description. Come in there, come and speak to us. Let us plug you in for absolutely free. GG.
All right, good call.
Good call, good call. See you guys tomorrow.